Alright, super sexy woody fragrances for autumn. All unisex fragrances today in this video, and if you want to find out about these fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian, and yes, I'm talking about woody fragrances that are perfect to wear for autumn. Season weather. The weather this particular season is usually still warm, but still cool, and I feel like woody fragrances are perfect. And these are the super sexy ones that I think will be perfect for this particular season. So if you like woody fragrances and that are appropriate to wear during the cooler, warmer autumn season months, then this is the video for you. But before I get to the fragrances though, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. And just before I get rolling on the fragrances, I do want to say there's only a few more of these little kits left from Twisted Lily. These are sample set. There's 5 samples in here of various niche houses, and these are selected by me. Some of my most favorite fragrances are in here, and I think this kit is perfect for beginners into niche perfumery. It's $25. There's a discount code. You can save 10% off. It's in the info box. And what happens is you get these 5 samples of these 5 different niche fragrances, and if you like any of them or any fragrances that are sold at Twisted Lily, you get to receive a $25 coupon with it as well that you apply towards any fragrance from the Twisted Lily website. So I think it's a great way to explore niche fragrances, especially if you're new to the world of niche fragrances. And one other thing I should say, yes, it is running out. There's only a few more left, and I'm hoping one of you will be the last remaining person to own one of these. Anyway, that is linked below. And let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the first one, and it's from the house of Atelier Cologne. This is Cedre Atlas, this one right here. This particular fragrance, to me, is more appropriate for the warmer days in autumn or fall. And it's a perfect woody fragrance meshed with citrus notes of lemons. But it features cedar. That's the woody note here. Lemons, vetiver, papyrus, amber, jasmine, bergamot, currant. So I think Atelier Cologne does really, really great fresh fragrances. And if you like the idea of fresh but you want a woody fragrance, this is one that you would look for from this house, because it does focus on the cedar, but it's a nice combination of cedar with lemons, and it's very, very fresh to wear. And as I said, perfect for the warmer days, especially if you're in Northern California when we experience kind of like Indian summer days where it really warms up during the day. I think this is perfect for those types of scenarios. Atelier Cologne Cedre Atlas at number 20. Next, going to the house of Celine. This is Reptile. And this is a leather fragrance, but very woody composition. It features notes of leather, but there's lots of woods in here as well. But it's a musky kind of a creation. A little subdued, but a great smelling, very, very sexy fragrance. Lots of leather, musk, cedar, oak moss, and black pepper. And again, this particular one, it's very, very sexy with the leather, but it's a fusion of nice leather, musk, and cedar. It doesn't get quite animalic. In fact, I don't think it really does bloom into something animalic, but definitely experience the leather and then the muskiness with the woods. And I feel like it's a perfect a unisex fragrance, and also very, very sexy to wear. It's a fusion of leather with woods and things like that. And I think this also, even though it's a little subdued, I think it's perfect most all year round as a wear, but I think it smells of fall and autumn and things like that. So I find it to be a great fragrance to wear during the autumn months. So this is Reptile from the house of Celine. Let me know if anybody knows this house and has sampled their fragrances. Next fragrance, going to the house of FRAPIN. This is BOIS BLANC. Super sexy fragrance here. Really, really a beautiful fragrance. Kind of hints a little bit at something like Cartier's Declaration and things like that, but it features notes of cedar, Guaiac wood, Ambroxan, Cade oil, sage, violet leaf, ginger, bitter orange, eucalyptus, and Cade. But a great wear. Again, this one to me also is very, very appropriate for the warmer days in autumn. But it has lots of woods in here. There's some spices, and then of course aromatics, and then they've added the Ambroxan note to give it the super sexy musky woodiness that we like from Ambroxan and fragrances. So this is definitely great for a Pan BOIS BLANC check it out. I think it's perfect for autumn. Next fragrance, going to the house of Goldfield and Banks. This is Wood Infusion, and this one to me, I recently spoke about it in a video I did with Goldfield and Banks. If you haven't caught that video, go check it out. It was a Zoom video. I think we spoke about this. I can't remember now. Maybe we did not speak about this, come to think of it. But this one features exotic woods, oud, orange, lavender, iris, amber, musk, and patchouli. It's super, super sexy. The oud in here is a little mysterious, kind of smelling, kind of exotic, contrasted with the exotic woods, but great fusion and lots of orange as well. Orange comes in, it's a nice balancing act, you know. The citrus kind of balances it out because, you know, sometimes woods can totally go heavy on one side, so the orange adds balance in here, and that's kind of what I like about this one, the fusion of orange with the woods. But of course there's some you know, aromatic touches with lavender, some ambery touches, musks, and patchouli. Very, very sexy. Goldfield and Banks Wood Infusion at number 17. The next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Cheeky Smile from JUSBOX, and this particular fragrance is all synthetic molecular kind of notes that we really like. Like Ambroxan is definitely prominent here intensely, and I think this one, these molecular kind of minimalistic fragrances are perfect for people that like to wear them and kind of like they blend with your body chemistry. Then it kind of creates its own unique smell, because I think that's what these particular fragrances need. Ambroxan especially is perfect for that. But this features Ambroxan, Ambrocenide, ISOE Super, Cashmeran, Amber Xtreme, Amber Core, lots of different you know, synthetic molecular kind of notes, but very, very sexy. It's intense also, but wears perfectly. And I wanted to make sure this list is all unisex. This is definitely a unisex offering, and I think it's a perfect fragrance for a fall, autumn, and it's very, very sexy. So JUSBOX, Cheeky Smile. Next up, going to the house of YSL, this is Splendid Wood. Here we have another oud wood, kind of a combination of notes. But this particular fragrance also features some flowers, so it kind of balances it out with the flowers rather than just going one-sided with the woods. And this particular fragrance was in a previous collection. They did move this one over from that older YSL collection, and I'm glad they did. But this one features oud, cedarwood, cypriol, cardamom, incense, rose, jasmine, sambac. So great combination of notes. I like the rose contrasted with the woods. I like the jasmine here as well, although jasmine is not as prominent as the rose, but it's lots of spices, a little smokiness from the incense, earthy, woody, cypriol, and of course lots of oud and cedarwood. So Splendid Wood, a great fragrance, very, very sexy, perfect for autumn. So this next fragrance, going to the house of Maison Crivelli. This is Bois de Chai, this one right here. This is a great scent. Recent discovery, and I love it because it's lots of woods. I feel like I also featured this in my fall or autumn fragrances video, but it's lots of cedar with black currant, so there's a fruitiness. There's also black tea, so there's a tea kind of coziness here, but lots of cedarwood, black currant, black tea, cinnamon, incense, guaiac wood, and patchouli. And there's no mention of cumin. On me, there's a little bit of a cumin crackle that pops up on me that I really, really like in this one. And I think it's mostly because of the notes, you know, combined together to give you that kind of cumin touch. It's not overwhelming, but you'll notice it. I think it's just from the woods and how the notes are working together that you get that, because they don't credit this note. But I really love it, and I find it to be super sexy and very, very woody. So Maison Crivelli Bois de Chai at number 14. This next fragrance I'm talking about is from the house of Penhaligon's. This is Halfeti Cedar, and this has turned out to be my favorite of the Halfetis from the Halfeti collection of fragrances. I did a video on this collection. If you haven't caught that video, please go catch it. And I love this one because it's lots of cedar wood, lots of woods, and contrast it with fruits and boozy notes. But it features cedar, peach, rum, saffron, dried fruits, cinnamon, vanilla, labdanum, patchouli, tonka beans. I really like dried fruits with booze. This is a great, great combo in fragrances. Lots of, not lots, but there are some that come up with this kind of a scenario with the dried fruits and then the booze, and I absolutely love it. I think boozy notes with fruits, dried fruits especially, is a very, very addicting smell, and it's perfect here. But it's lots of woods. It's cedar after all. It's a cedar, Halfeti Cedar, so you have lots of woods with this one, but that contrast with the rum, the fruits, and the peach, simply delicious. Actually, I really love that about this particular one, and it's also very sexy. So check it out, Halfeti Cedar from the house of Penhaligon's. This next one's from the house of Atelier Oblique. This is Bohemian Woods. Here we have another very woody fragrance, also a little boozy with a licoricey touch, but it features notes of woods, iris, elemi resin, absinthe, incense, leather, saffron, vanilla, musk, patchouli, freesia. If you like the idea of old antique woods, like walking into a church and you can smell the kind of like the smell that the furniture, the woods, and the, you know, interior has kind of created, this is what this smells like. There is a little bit of an incensey thing running throughout it as well. So that's kind of why it reminds me of like you're walking through an older church, like especially in Europe where it's like, you know, 300, 400, 500, 600 years old. And there's that, you know, scent in there, that smell of all the, you know, the benches and the wooden, you know, furniture and things like that. And then of course there's a little bit of a remnants of a previous church, you know, service. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But of course it has a kind of boozy green kind of absinthe note contrasted in here as well to make it a very sexy combination of notes. This is a great scent if you don't know it, Bohemian Woods, and it's super sexy from the house of Atelier Oblique. Next, going to the house of Atelier Materi. This is Bois de Ambrette, this one right here. Again, here we have a very musky fragrance but very woody, and it features Ambrette as a star player in this particular fragrance. Ambrette is an all-natural ingredient that's to create a musky smell. It's used in the place of the authentic deer musk. I don't think they smell similar to me because Ambrette has light medicinal touches with fruity, boozy nuances, but it's very sexy. It's perfect in fragrances, and with this one I think they've done a great job with it. It's powdery for sure, but it features Ambrette, Angelica, Amyris, Sandalwood, Musk, Ambroxan, Ginger, Mandarin Orange. There's a little bit of a vegetal quality in here as well, but I really like it. Like there's iris in here or something like that, but I believe it's coming from the Angelica note. It's a super sexy fragrance. Atelier Materi Bois de Ambrette. The next fragrance I'm talking about is from the house of Parlez-moi de Parfum. It's Milky Musk, for a very sexy, very cozy, creamy sandalwood experience. It's so beautiful. It does smell like there's milk in here, but there's no milk. There's a milkiness coming from the sandalwood that they're using in here, and it's a delicious experience. It's almost gourmand-ish, if that makes sense. But it just features sandalwood and musk, but you get kind of like creamy, milky undertones in here. So it feels like there's a little bit of a gourmand leaning edge to it as well, because there's a sweetness in here, but very cozy, also very sexy, wears beautifully. Sandalwood, milky sandalwood, I think is a very cozy experience, and I think it's perfect for fall and autumn. So you get tired in autumn. I feel sleepy all the time, and this kind of fragrance, you know, if you wear it just before you're, you know, go and take a nap or something or go to sleep, it does calm you down. Anyway, Milky Musk, very sexy from the house of Parlez-moi de Parfum. Next up, going to the house of Initio Parfums. This is Rehab. I recently featured this at number 3 in my top 10 Initio Parfums fragrances video. If you haven't caught that video, please go catch it. But here we have sandalwood once again. It's a creamy experience, lightly milky, but with lots of other notes that come in here as well. It wears beautifully. It's perfect for autumn, I think, and it's a very woody, aromatic, spicy experience. Sandalwood, lavender, bergamot, vetiver, cedar, patchouli, musk, and Guaiac wood. So if you see this, the notes, if you hear the notes, it's all very woody with lightly, you know, earthiness from the patchouli, muskiness from the musk. It is powdery, of course, and then of course the aromatic lavender touch, and then the vetiver in here as well. Beautiful fragrance. It's currently ranked here in this video at number 9. It's Rehab from the house of Initio Parfums. This next fragrance is from the house of Tiziana Terenzi. This is Sienne, this one right here. What a great fragrance this is. It smells like authentic woods, musky and leathery as well. Very interesting fragrance created by Tiziana Terenzi. But it features leather, cypress, juniper berries, sandalwood, patchouli, musk, honey, amber, iris, myrrh. So there is a little bit of a sweet touch in here, but it's a very unique take on woody, aromatic, spicy fragrance. It does have light ambery undertones, and there's that sweetness coming in from the the honey as well. But it's a beautiful, unique take on kind of like a leather woods kind of a thing. But this is a wonderful, wonderful fragrance. I like the combination because it's lots of woods and aromatics and spices contrasted with leather. You know, the leather is all on its own because everything else is all woods and things like that. The cypress adds a unique twist to it because cypress, to me, even though it's woods, it has more of a green, almost like a juniper berry like experience. Juniper as a note, kind of an experience, but it's a green experience, and it's contrasted beautifully with the sandalwood and of course the patchouli in here. Very, very delicious. It's a little sweet, it's a little musky, a little powdery and ambery, but beautiful. If you don't know Sienna, check it out. It's from the house of Tiziana Terenzi. Next, going to the house of Francesca Bianchi. This is Sticky Fingers. Boy, this is delicious. Really, really delicious fragrance. No, this is the dark side, sadly. I don't have my Sticky Fingers here, but Sticky Fingers is a great patchouli fragrance. It's patchouli with, you know, ambers and resins and things like that, but it features patchouli, tobacco, orris, leather, tonka beans, sandalwood, castoreum, cinnamon. A great fragrance from the house of Francesca Bianchi. It's become my favorite because it does feature patchouli. But the patchouli is there, it's lots of it, but everything else comes in, a lot of it too. The tobacco, of course, the orris and the leather all come in to contribute for a beautiful fragrance. Sorry I don't have my Sticky Fingers bottle. This does say dark side, but Sticky Fingers is a really, really great fragrance and very, very sexy for fall and autumn. Next up at number 6, going to the house of Ideaux Parfumeurs. This is Prism Blues, and I wanted to make this list not necessarily a patchouli heavy fragrance video, but I find patchouli to begin with very, very sexy, but I wanted to make sure if there's patchouli in the fragrances, because it's more about the woods rather than patchouli. But if patchouli comes in to contribute to become a perfect fragrance, that's fine, and it's perfect like that here in Prism Blues. Even though the star of the show is patchouli, and patchouli is earthy, woody, there's lots of oud here along with cardamom. So this also kind of reminds me of oud wood, and it's also like a patchouli version of oud wood. So if you like that fragrance and you like the idea of patchouli, this is definitely one to check out. But Prism Blues features patchouli, cardamom, oud, rose bay, geranium, labdanum, musk, black pepper. Spicy, woody, aromatic, and very, very sexy. If you don't know this one, check it out. Prism Blues from the house of Ideaux Parfumeurs. This next one is absolutely fantastic. I'm obsessed with this house. This is one of my favorite houses as of late. This is Maison Violet. This is Tanagra. It's a very woody fragrance, but boy, it's absolutely delicious because that first spray, it reminds me of Dior Homme Parfum. Then it becomes more of an iris vetiver combo, earthy, woody, powdery with cedar as well. But it features iris, vetiver, cedar, musk, tangerine, pear, freesia, peony, jasmine. So there's lots of woods, there's lots of iris, there's also musk and a little bit of citrus, but you know, a little fruitiness, but then lots of white flowers as well, for a beautiful combination. And then very, very sexy as well. And then that first spray, it does hint at Dior Homme Parfum or Dior Homme Intense. That goes away, but still kind of hinting at the iris in Dior Homme Intense or Dior Homme Parfum, but the initial blast really reminds me of it. It's a different kind of a Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme Parfum, but it's super, super sexy. Very, very woody as well. If you like iris and woods together, definitely check out Maison Violet Tanagra. A great, great scent. Very, very sexy. The next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of Montal. It's Vetiver Patchouli, and I find this to be very, very sexy. Ultra, ultra sexy. The combination of the vetiver and patchouli together is a match made in heaven. It'll come up once more in another fragrance. But here it's a little powdery like iris, but there's no iris mentioned here. But it features vetiver, lots of patchouli, carrot seed, pink pepper, jasmine, and we're getting that kind of iris-like, you know, factor in this particular fragrance from the carrot seeds. Carrot seeds are very powdery, and there's a powdery experience here. But the vetiver patchouli green together, earthy, woody, very, very sexy together, is perfectly match made in heaven. So Montal, vetiver patchouli. Love it. It's a great fragrance, totally different than their other patchouli fragrance, which is called Patchouli Leaves. The next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is from the house of Guerlain. This is Bois Mysterio. A beautiful fragrance, very, very sexy, super, super sexy with lots of leather and woods, but there's also lots of resins here, green, kind of laurel, bay laurel leaf, and then also that cumin appears as well, lightly cuminy with patchouli. It's a very, very perfect fragrance, perfect also for autumn, where it's dry, but it's got the intensity and the sexiness that I really like. But it features lots of leather with myrrh, cedar, patchouli, bay laurel, jasmine, and neroli. If you like it super sexy and very, very dusty, dry, leathery, with aromatic touches, definitely check out Guerlain's Bois Mysterieux. The next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is that other fragrance that features vetiver and patchouli. It's from the house of Javoy. It's Incident Diplomatique, this one right here. And, you know, as I said earlier, I didn't feature fragrances just all about patchouli. This one has lots of patchouli with lots of more of vetiver is what I was going to try and say. But the vetiver patchouli combination is super sexy. This one garners me compliments as well, which I really, really like. Leaves a really, really sexy trail, and it wears beautifully in the fall, autumn, especially here in Northern California. But Incident Diplomatique features vetiver, patchouli, nutmeg, sandalwood, orange. Here's that orange and nutmeg kind of thing coming in again to kind of like contrast and balance out the fragrance, because it could lean totally one-sided with vetiver and patchouli, just becoming too... It wouldn't have worked, but that orange that's in here and the nutmeg sweetens it up a little bit, you know, adds a nice balance to the fragrance and makes it super, super sexy. This is a perfect fragrance to wear in the autumn. It smells like autumn to me with the patchouli and the vetiver, of course. So Javoy Incident Diplomatique at number 2. Can you guess my number 1? So my number 1 super sexy woody fragrance for autumn is the Baccarat Rouge 540. I'm displaying the Xtreme version, but the original is fine, especially since it's pretty heavy on its own, although I prefer this one because it has a more of an ambery experience, but the original has notes of amber wood, ambroxan, fir, cedar, saffron, jasmine, and ambergris. But it's very, very super sexy. It also has a great trail, perfect, and it garners compliments. Although this fragrance has become so recognizable now, maybe I should stop, you know, featuring it in videos, but I was kind of late discovering it because I hated it at first. You know, I didn't really care for it, but it really grew on me, and now it's become a great fragrance. Very, very sexy, and I think it's perfect for fall. If you don't know this one, probably don't know fragrances yet. Do check it out. It's really, really great. It smells fantastic, garners lots of compliments, and it's super sexy for autumn wear. So MFK, Maison Francis Kurkdjian Baccarat Rouge 540 is my number 1 fragrance option for this particular video. And guys, let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Have you sampled them? Have you tried them? Do you like them? Or are you curious to try them? Let me know. Put some comments down below. Also, let me know what your favorite super sexy woody fragrances are that you like to wear in the autumn. Not necessarily all in autumn, any time of the year. Put a comment down so I can find out if there's something new that I haven't smelled yet. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today. Hope everyone's well. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please make sure to take advantage of this sample kit. As I said, it's $25. You can save 10% off. Discount code is in the info box with the link to this. There's only a few more left. And I'm trying to get everyone that is interested. I think it's perfect set for someone that is just starting out in niche fragrances, as there's 5 great samples in there. Anyway, guys, thanks again. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Alright, one last fragrance for you guys. Thanks so much for sticking around. I'm offering up one very luxury option. It's from the house of Raja Parfums. This is Parfum de la Nuit number 3. Very, very sexy fragrance. Very woody and leathery, but with ambery undertones. And it has this beautifully sexy cumin note that comes in to contrast with the ambery woody touches to create for one beautifully orgasmic concoction. I know it's super expensive, but if you have the budget, definitely check this one out, because I highly recommend it. It has now become one of my all-time favorites from this house. It just smells kind of really, really orgasmic. If, you know, you just put your nose to it, it's really, really a wonderful fragrance. But leather, amber, cumin, sandalwood, gurjun balsam, labdanum, styrax, cardamom, cedar, patchouli, saffron. Wonderful fragrance. I hope you guys get to try it. I think it's a super fantastic fragrance. Anyway, Raja Parfums, Parfum de la Nuit number 3 is the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about today. Thank you so much.